really in having these conversations how important mindset and mental health is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've experienced that as well, Dave, but, I do have a counselor's heart. Going back to TLC, when I used to counsel the people on credit, and I see where if we get counseling and therapy, our lives can be so much better.
From Fiore Communications, it's How I Got Here, a show highlighting the unexpected journeys of some of Tallahassee's most interesting people. Everybody has a story worth telling, and I'm grateful we get to share a few of them with you. I'm Dave Fiore, and in this episode, I speak with Nicole Everett, creator and host of Conversations with Nicole, a Tallahassee-based show on YouTube that started as a series of weekly luncheons with photos posted on Facebook. It grew into a platform with a Roku channel, a local TV run, and an audience that has followed her through every evolution. Nicole has spent most of her adult life in rooms where people needed someone to really listen. 15 years at the Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, helping first-time homebuyers get mortgage ready and into their first home. 7 years at Florida Housing Finance Corporation, overseeing 3 statewide foreclosure programs. And a decade of sit-down conversations that have a way of going places guests never quite expected. She grew up in North Dade County, the first Black family on her block, in a neighborhood that turned out to be as diverse in culture as it was in cuisine. FAMU brought her to Tallahassee, but her career and the community she experienced here made it home. Conversations with Nicole found her during a quieter season, after her son left for college and she started exploring, taking classes, going to poetry shows, and just figuring out what came next. The answer was 10 seasons of the show and counting, with episodes that impact the dialogue in our community. We talk about community, mental health, homeownership, and what it really means to hold space for people. Because for Nicole, the show was never about production. It was always about the conversation. We started our conversation talking about growing up in South Florida. You grew up in Miami Gardens, right? So,
yeah. Listen, it wasn't Miami Gardens back then. It was just unincorporated North Dade County.
Okay, so it didn't have a name then.
It did not.
Tell us about that area and your life and what life was like for you as a kid there.
So, in North Dade County, which was also called kind of Carroll City, Opelika, it was great. My family actually was the first African-American family that moved on my block. But as other families of color kind of migrated, it was truly a multicultural situation because I had a Puerto Rican family, the Cruzes. We had a Jamaican family, the Clarks. We had a Bahamian family, Mrs. Jones and her children. And we had a family from Cayman, the McPhields. So I can go to the Cruzes and have roast con pollo. I could go to the Clarks and have curry goat. I can go to Miss Jones's house and have conch, and the McPhields, they kind of had a mix of everything. But we all played together. We trick-or-treated together. We climbed the mango trees together, lots of hide and seek. We had a good time. So it was a great childhood.
So as a kid, that sounds like some adventurous eating situations. So
yes.
did you like all that? I mean,
I did.
So you weren't just a chicken nugget kid or something?
I was not. No, even though Burger King was right around the corner and McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I actually wound up working at that Burger King for about 2 years as a teenager. Yeah. But no, it was very diverse. I definitely got a greater appreciation for the different cultures. And I think it just has made my life more rich.
Yeah. That's great. So tell us about your family, your parents, any siblings. What was that situation?
Yes. Mom and dad. Mom is originally from Philly. Her parents moved to Miami when she was 13. Dad, originally from rural Virginia. He enlisted in the Air Force and was stationed in Homestead.
Okay.
And so they met, I think, kind of blind date-ish. Some friends were hooking them up. And yeah, so almost 60 years later, they're still together, still down there. So it's me. I am the oldest of two. My sister Shayla is almost 13 years my junior. As I often say that we are like only children that share the same set of parents, because when I came to Tallahassee, she was about 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different, yeah, I'm sure it was two different, your parents were different people.
They were different people.
Both times,
I
right?
definitely had them when they were younger, more adventurous.
She got away with everything probably, right?
She did.
You're still not bitter about that at all, right?
I'm not. It's
all right,
okay.
good.
It's all right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So what were you most interested in? What did you like doing as a child? Did like sports, music, art? Did you have any interests at all?
Yes, lots of interests. I like school. I like learning. Math was kind of my forte. But I did participate in dance and Girl Scouts. We had different kind of coming of age groups. So I was involved with something called the Biettes, Buds of Springs, Debutante. So did all of those types of things. And in school, academically, so Mu Alpha Theta was a club that I was involved with. I did a little modeling. I was a leader, senior class committee on the homecoming court. So I was in chorus.
Wow, sounds like you did a lot.
I did.
Like in the leadership, did you pursue that? Did you enjoy it, or did you just kind of find yourself in those positions?
No, I pursued it. There was elections and all of that. So yeah, it was, definitely the campaign trail at high school, trying to get folks to vote for you. You're gonna, I don't know, get better lunches in the lunchroom or whatever the case may be.
What your platform was?
Right, exactly. Yes. So, yeah, it was all of that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You left Miami to come to Tallahassee to attend Florida A&M University.
Yes.
So why FAMU? Did you know? Was that your dream? Did you have other options? How did you end up here?
So, no, it was not initially. I actually wanted to attend Howard University.
Okay.
But I took the ASVAB test, which is the military test.
Okay.
And I scored high in like business and administrative function. And someone said you should visit FAMU School of Business and Industry. And I did. And I loved it. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is where I should be.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what drew me to FAMU was SBI, the School of Business and Industry.
All right. So what did you think of Tallahassee when you got here? A little different, right?
I had a love-hate relationship with Tallahassee when I got here. Definitely being from Miami. But I had a lot of friends from Miami. We probably had about 20 people from my high school that came to FAMU. And then several others from other high schools. That helps a lot, right? Yeah, for sure. Other high schools in Miami, a lot of us were interconnected because we were in a number of auxiliary organizations. So we had relationship with students from other schools in Miami. So they were here as well. So that was helpful. But man, it was the campus experience was great. Definitely, coming into your own with time management and having to, just take care of yourself.
Was that hard to be on your own and not be accountable to anybody but yourself?
It had its challenges.
Yeah.
It's good and bad.
Did you have a crazy period or anything?
Oh, yes. Plenty of that. And during that time, being on the set at FAMU was very popular. And that was where, folks could drive through the campus. And, there was a lot of hanging out and just, being a college student, right?
Yeah.
Enjoying the freedom of all of that. So, but it was a great time.
What did you major in?
I was business administration.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I know you were excited to come to FAMU because of the program. Mm-hmm. Were you pleased with the education you got and the experience? Did it live up to your expectations?
It did. It actually exceeded it. There were many things that I was not aware of. And, in the university setting, it's the exploration of the universe, right? The universe of the college campus and all that it offers. And, a university offers many things from student government to, other organizations, athletics, all of the things, right? And so I feel like I explored that pretty well.
You participated in some of that?
I did. I got involved with the leadership piece. I was a sophomore senator. I got involved with the student group, Student Alliance for Cultural Development, the Economics Club. I was a Omega Sweetheart. So I got involved with a number of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My roommate in college my freshman year was from Miami.
Okay.
And all he did was complain about Tallahassee.
I
said, this little podunk place, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. I can't wait to get out of here.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I actually did go home quite often that first year. Somebody was riding, driving. I would be catching a ride to
That's
go.
funny. Because I grew up in a small town in Central Florida, so I got here. Tallahassee was way bigger than my little town. I'm like, this place is awesome. Look at all the stuff there is. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But that's funny. All right, so what were your career goals? Did you know when you were in school what you wanted to do after you graduated?
No, I did not. I kind of had no idea, to be quite honest with you. I interned at Beneficial, both locally as well as in D.C. with their labor relations office.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not labor relations. They're lobbyists, right? So it was their lobby office.
Okay.
Government relations, that's what it was, government relations. So that was a different side of business that I was not familiar with at all. But it definitely gave me a different perspective on how business from a policy and political standpoint works.
So were you intrigued by that, or kind of like, I can't believe this is really what happens?
I can't believe this is what really happens.
Yeah. Did that shape your outlook and your thoughts about the whole system moving forward?
I definitely was not drawn to the political piece as a result of that.
Yeah.
Just because of how decisions were made. Yeah.
It's for some people and not for other people, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I can specifically recall one of the higher-ups expecting certain politicians to vote a particular way on a particular bill that would directly affect the corporation, and they did not. And she was pretty upset about it.
Yeah.
And basically, said that there would be some
repercussions.
Yes. I was like, ooh, okay.
This is for real.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so how did you end up staying in Tallahassee? Or did you go away first, or did you stay?
So I actually was expecting my junior year. So I went home, had my son, came back, graduated, and anticipated getting involved with the MBA program at FAMU, which they just started. When I graduated, that next semester they were gearing that up, but didn't get accepted. And so I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. So I approached a gentleman who was over a labor relations program at FAMU about getting involved with his program. Actually, he kind of encouraged me, recruited me to get involved with that program, and said that he would pay for my classes. So I actually got another degree while taking these labor relations classes and working part-time and trying to figure out what my next move was going to be, which I really spent a lot of time interviewing on campus after that. And I was working, but I got a job with Norfolk Southern Railroad.
Okay. Doing what?
So I was a customer account representative for the intermodal department, and this was in Atlanta. Everybody wanted to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so while I was super excited about going, it kind of wasn't all that I thought it was going to be.
The job or Atlanta?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like Atlanta, but at this time, my son was maybe around 4 or 5, and I didn't really appreciate the support system that I had established in Tallahassee until I left it.
Right.
So I really missed the supports that I had here. So I was very anxious to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you came back and got a job in lending, right?
So interestingly enough, before I left, I was working at the Tallahassee Lenders Consortium.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the administrative assistant. They welcomed me back because they had a new program that they were doing, some infill housing with the city. And I kind of took charge of that in terms of, all of the dynamics that went along with that. And so, yeah, I did. It
Okay.
was
that an affordable housing program?
It is. It's an affordable housing program. They still exist and are doing great work. But down payment and closing cost assistance, credit counseling, foreclosure counseling, homebuyer education, financial literacy, all of that. So got heavily involved in all of that when I returned.
And you enjoyed that?
I did. I loved it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great program.
Yeah. And you did that for a while.
I did. I was there in totality for about 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then later you got involved with Habitat for Humanity
I
too,
did.
right?
But even before Habitat, I served at Florida Housing Finance Corporation, which is our state housing finance authority. I was there 7 years, and I oversaw 3 foreclosure programs statewide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And we'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying this episode of How I Got Here, which is recorded at Fiore Communications just down the hall from my office. If you want to start a podcast but aren't sure about what all's involved, our podcast launch package has you covered. We'll handle everything: concept, branding, first episode recording, editing, and publishing. We'll even give you social templates to get your promotion started. Why wait any longer? Learn more at fiorecommunications.com/packages. And now back to the show. All right, so as a credit counselor educating home buyers about financial literacy, like you mentioned, what did you learn from sitting across the table from people trying to make that happen for themselves and learning how to enter the world of home ownership and financial responsibility at a level maybe that they hadn't been exposed to before? What were those interactions like?
So those interactions oftentimes were very nerve-wracking for the people on the other side of the desk. But for me, it was just reassuring them that that was how they appear on paper. It was not the sum totality of who they were, and that pretty much everything can be fixed, with some money and some time.
Credit scores, all that.
Yep.
Did they believe you when you told them
that? They
did.
did. And, we gave them action plans in terms of targeting certain bills or making deals with debt collectors, at maybe a reduced rate, that sort of thing. And just things that they should do to progress and make themselves credit ready, mortgage ready. Yeah.
That must have been pretty fulfilling. I mean, you're changing the trajectory of people's lives, right?
It was very fulfilling.
Yeah.
At the height of TLC's, Tallahassee Lenders Consortium's kind of heyday, we were assisting about 100 people a year with purchasing their first home.
Did you work with Keith Bowers at all? Wasn't
he
involved around the same time?
He was so in a couple capacities. He was at Florida Housing Finance at the time, as well as at one time he was at People's First Community Bank. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a previous guest, and we talked about that. All right. I'm going to ask you a little different kind of question here that's not directly related to your background. But in that topic, do you think we're moving in a positive direction in our community as far as affordable housing and making those opportunities available to more people?
We're trying. It's difficult though because the cost of housing has gone up so much. Yeah. I think the city, the county, the municipalities, as well as the local housing providers are doing as best they can, but production, trying to keep up with it all, and again, just the cost of supplies and the demand is so great. I don't know. I think in my opinion, there needs to be many things in the toolbox in this whole kind of affordability piece, from rental to ownership. And we need some of it in all sectors of town.
Yeah. Except for the money you need down, renting seems more impossible than owning in a lot of situations.
In a lot of situations, because the rents are
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
And, they keep going up. You know what I'm saying? So annually, folks are faced with...
It's not even they lock in and say, I can afford this because it's going to change next year.
$100, $200, $300 hikes in
It makes
rent.
a difference.
Yeah, it does. It does. And the incomes aren't keeping up with the increased expense.
Well, hopefully this is a pendulum that will, and with interest rates being high, this is a terrible time as far as home ownership, but hopefully it'll swing back.
Hopefully.
At some point.
Yeah.
I hope. All right. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Conversations with Nicole.
Okay.
You launched in 2016.
Yes.
Right? So you just celebrated your 10 years.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So tell us about the show and what motivated you to start it, and why do you wanted to talk to so many people in our community?
Yeah, so the show started as a result of me having lunch at Nefertari's restaurant and wanting to highlight lunch so that they would keep lunch. And so I would invite people to come have lunch with me on a weekly basis. And I took a picture of me and my guests and our food and would post it on Facebook weekly, encouraging people to come have lunch at Nefertari's.
That's right. So no recording of anything, just you having a conversation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So I did that every week through the end of December of 2015.
Did it help? The
Well,
restaurant?
They closed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But anyway.
It was an admirable.
It was an admirable. And they did not ask me
endeavor.
to do this. I mean, I know the owners. They didn't ask me to do it, but yeah. So the end of the year, I was at holiday parties in December of 2015, and people were asking me when I was going to invite them to lunch at Nefertari's. And I didn't think people were really paying attention to those Facebook posts.
Yeah.
But at any rate, a girlfriend of mine in January of 2016 suggested that I do a blog. Didn't know what it was. And so I said, let me think about it, pray about it, meditate on it, and did. And so I talked with my friend and now business partner, Gerald, who had a production company, asked him to show me how to do a video on my phone. I was going to do this video blog. He was like, no, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So talked to the owners, the Denards, about shooting the show at Nefertari's. They agreed. And at the time, I was at Florida Housing, but we shot like 25 episodes on my lunch break.
Wow.
Yeah. In 2016. So, yeah, it initially just started out with us. Gerald would get there about 30 minutes before my guests, set up the lights and the mics and the cameras and such. And when me and my guests arrived, we would order our food, get mic'd up, have our conversation. And when the food came out, we were done. Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
So it's evolved some since then.
It has.
You know, now, and we'll talk about kind of what you're focusing on in a minute, but just the locations, the technology. Were you just in it for the whole ride and you're just like, whatever happens, I just want to keep trying? Or did you think, I'm sure I know I've been doing this show for a while. It's a lot to keep it going and to commit to it. So what has your thought been through this whole process of, through a lot of changes? Yeah,
I didn't quite know what it would be initially, but I did have a focus group meeting afterwards with some folks, some trusted folks in the community, and they thought, it could have a chance. And so we explored television. In fact, we were on television on the local Fox affiliate here as paid programming, and I was paying for the programming for a 30-minute slot. And
were you able to sell any ads in it?
I was, but,
that's a lot.
It's a lot, and they kept changing the rules. And so I didn't care for that. So
TV wasn't the thing?
No, but Gerald and I did have our own Roku channel, which was also a lot.
Yeah.
And we actually had other shows and programming, but to have a network is a whole, you need a whole team. You really do.
Right.
But he and I were, doing it. So we did that for about 3 years. And then we went back to where we started, which was Facebook and YouTube. So, yeah, I think after that first season, I really kind of committed to it. Not kind of. I did commit to it because I'm still here.
Yeah.
But it has changed a lot. It's been we've evolved, both of us, and just how we even produce the show has evolved a lot. But there's such great technology. We used to really spend a lot of time with B-roll and edits and all of that sort of thing. So I've learned way more about the technical side than I ever imagined that I would. But it's been a wonderful ride.
Well, good. I know now when I've seen a lot of your shows, and some are, traditional, like a set somewhere. Some are on, I guess YouTube or like a Facebook situation where you're remote and you have people in different locations. I've seen some in people's kitchens, all over the place. So do you just kind of roll with the circumstances and opportunities as they present themselves?
So a combination of the two. What I started out with was seasons. So the first season, like I said, was about 25 episodes, but now we're doing like a 10-episode season annually.
Okay.
And we typically try to do that in one location. Season 4, we went to 10 different restaurants in town, which was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work too, because you kind of never know what you're going to get because you're in a new environment each time.
Yeah.
And so, but we've utilized Tallahassee as our studio.
There you go.
Yeah.
And while, we're recording in a studio and I like that sound, I also like the ambient sound sometimes, the clicking and clattering of a restaurant.
Yes.
It's kind of a warm backdrop,
yes,
right, for a conversation.
It is.
So, all right. So in recent, I guess, years, but certainly recently, your focus on the show has been on mental health and wellness, especially for people of color. And so where did that direction come from? Was it intentional? Tell us about that shift a little bit.
So Tallahassee Memorial Health Care was one of my sponsors. And in my initial meeting with them, I told them that mental health was something that I was interested in. They connected me with the Mental Health Council of the Big Bend, and that had to be almost 10 years ago now. And I really got immersed in mental health and wellness, being affiliated with that council, which I still am to this day.
Okay.
And so I've seen just like really in having these conversations how important mindset and mental health is. And I don't know if you've experienced that as well, Dave, but, I do have a counselor's heart. Going back to TLC, when I used to counsel the people on credit, and I see where if we get counseling and therapy, our lives can be so much better.
Sure.
And so during COVID was actually when I kind of took this shift because now I'm home and now I'm learning these kind of in-home tools, which StreamYard is my platform of choice.
Okay.
And I thought we need to be talking about this.
And we'll be right back. How I Got Here is sponsored by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning in Tallahassee. I've been friends with Patrick Barano since we met in a chamber leads group about 15 years ago. I'll admit that I pursued him pretty hard to be his marketing firm and eventually won him over. And the reason I wanted to work with him is that I was already a customer and I knew what kind of company he and his father before him had built. He cares about his customers, he cares about his team, and he cares about this community. I've experienced Barano Heating and Air when they installed a complete system replacement a few years ago, and I enjoy peace of mind and same-day service with my Total Comfort Service Agreement. I've also been behind the scenes at their office and seen firsthand the true character of this company. And that's why we're so proud to represent them. To learn more or to schedule an appointment online anytime, visit baranoac.com. They really always will be there for you. And now back to the show. And I assume that even though you started it a while ago, you were not close to running out of topics or people to talk to. It's a pretty deep subject, right?
It is. And so I do Mindset Monday, Wellness Wednesday, which wellness is pretty broad. And, there are many dimensions of wellness. So it really does kind of open it up to pretty much anything. I'm excited about those conversations. I typically have counselors and therapists on, but sometimes they're authors, sometimes they're, clergy, sometimes it's coaches. It kind of runs the gamut. So I truly enjoy those conversations. For me, Dave, my show is really about my guests and the listeners. And I really am hoping that the things that my guest shares will benefit the listeners greatly.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. How does it benefit you to have those conversations?
Oh, just to uncover the greatness of my guests, like their greater works. One of my mantras is that we all have gifts and talents that the world is waiting on, and we shouldn't be sitting on them, that we need to be sharing them with the world. And my show is a platform to do just that. And so I hope that the greatest compliment for me is when someone says, oh, I saw or I heard so-and-so on your show, and I want to contribute to what they're doing, or I need what they have. How can I connect with them? Like, to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You've spent a lot of time listening to other people's stories, not in all areas and situations, and helping them be heard. Has that, for the last 10 years, what has that taught you about the people you talk to and taught you about yourself?
So it's definitely taught me that most people want to be heard. And a lot of times it is them getting the permission to be heard. And oftentimes it's them hearing themselves say it out loud, right? And that there are solutions in them even voicing it to someone. I think what I have learned about myself is that I have a counselor's heart and that I hold space for people. And that is a unique gift because not all people can sit and listen to folks' stories and without interjecting themselves. Because I find a lot of times when you talk to somebody about your experience, they will tell you about their experience that's similar. And I get it. Kind
of hijack the whole thing.
Right. They're trying to find some commonality and that's a good thing. But sometimes, just listen. Yeah.
Do you see the kind of the twinkle in their eye or the light bulb when they start to share, and then they, like you said, maybe they're hearing themselves and they're like, I may have some value to add here. I may have a voice that somebody cares about. What does that mean to you when you see that happen?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Dave, how Conversations with Nicole really got started is with those lunches that I would have at Nefertari's. Because what would happen is, in the midst of the conversation, they would say, I haven't really thought about this in a long time, but blah, 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 blah. Or I haven't really told anybody this, but blah, 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 blah. And so that used to happen a lot. And it still does to some extent. I think sometimes people get caught up on the production piece and are not as comfortable, but I really have sought in my 10 years to really get them to focus on me and let's just have the conversation. Forget about the mics, the lights, and the cameras. And most times people will say, oh, that was great. You made it so easy for me to talk to you, And so that's what I hope happens.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it does. Yeah, that's my experience as well, that people leave and they're like, I had no intention of talking about all that. But you get people, like you said, comfortable forgetting about everything else and just sharing and thinking about things that they haven't thought about. It's pretty amazing to see them share, being vulnerable and sharing from their heart without worrying about, they feel safe enough to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. You mentioned your son. His name's Jabari, right?
Yes.
So do you want to tell us about him at all and have a proud mama moment here or anything?
I do. I actually recently visited him. I just got back yesterday from visiting him. So Jabari is my sunshine. My favorite son is what I call him. I only have one child, but he's my favorite son.
Well, he can still have that title.
He can. Yeah, he is an emerging chef in New York, and I'm super proud of him.
Wow. Self-taught,
but, is a pretty talented, if I may say so myself. So.
Is there a particular kind of food?
It's kind of a mix. He's kind of eclectic with his palate, but he's been very successful with like a healthy meal prep that he does. In fact, before he moved to New York, he was in D.C. and he had several clients that he serviced with meal prep. And one of his clients, her numbers were so good at the doctor. The doctor was trying to figure out what she had been doing. And it was, the food. But, outside of meal prep, he does do like private events and cooks in people's homes and that sort of thing. So he does a good job.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right. You've received a large number of community awards and recognitions over the years. It's a long list. Includes a Domi Award. You've been named a Capital Area Healthy Star Angel. You've been named to the Tallahassee Democrat. 25 Women You Need to Know. And like I said, a lot more. What do these mean to you when you think about the last 10 years or 20 years and your impact on the community and being recognized? I know you're going to say you don't do it for that, but it's still, I want to know how it feels to when people call you out to say, hey, Nicole, we appreciate you and what you do.
So it feels great. I will tell you, I have struggled with imposter syndrome, especially not having a communications background, journalism or, again, I never thought I would be doing this. And so it is really an honor to be honored at home. A lot of times you can feel maybe like folks don't see you or, aren't really paying attention, but to receive these accolades definitely shows that they are.
All right. We have a couple minutes left. Let's talk about maybe some things you like to do for fun.
Okay.
All right. I saw you like to garden.
I do.
What do you grow?
I only grow stuff that I can eat.
Okay.
Yes. So right now, I'm not doing a great job on a personal level, but I do have a first grade class at Bond Elementary. Shout out to Mrs. Harris and her first grade class. And so we are growing corn, okra, eggplant, tomatoes, green beans, cantaloupe, basil.
Nice. There's a garden at the school?
There's a garden at the school.
Right.
But we started it from the library seeds in the window, and we've transplanted it to the garden on campus. Yeah.
We do the library seeds too. That's a great program.
It is.
Yeah, we were just, I'm a member of Sunrise Rotary, and we were just at Bond last week with the microgreens.
I heard.
Yeah, and I was in one of the classrooms helping the kids plant their little plastic dish, and a week later they had little greens.
I saw them.
And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, so you're not doing gardening at home at the moment?
Not really. All I have is some rosemary and a tomato plant, which is really poor for me.
Because people can see your face. You're kind of a very defeated look on your face.
I got to do better.
All right. Also saw that you enjoy line dancing.
I do.
You've even taught it in the past?
I do teach it.
Are you still teaching now?
I still teach it now, yeah.
Okay, so tell us about that. What kind of music? What's that whole vibe about?
So it's mostly kind of Southern soul, R&B, but yeah, Tallahassee line dance class started by Jokeisha Horn, who was a friend of mine. I guess almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
And yeah, Walk Forward Community Center every other Tuesday. All of the classes are free, but we also dance at Sticks Pool and Bar, at Pockets, and at different establishments in the community. And again, all of the classes are free, but it has truly built a community, and all levels of skill and
I was going to say, do you have to know what you're doing to come participate?
You don't, because we teach it. We teach the dance. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun.
It's good exercise?
It is good exercise. Yes, you will be sweating by the time you are done. So we probably within an hour can teach about five dances.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. You should come, Dave.
I don't know about that. I don't know if anybody wants to see that, but I think it would be fun.
Yeah. We invite the entire community to come and join us. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Final 2 questions.
Okay.
Nicole, looking back, what is the one thing or person that changed the trajectory of your life to this point?
I would have to say my son. He has been a big part of my life. When he graduated from high school and went on to college, I found myself to be lost because I definitely had owned the identity of mother. I took it very seriously, and I didn't know what I was going to be doing. Now that I still was Jabari's mom, but just not on a day-to-day basis like I had previously been. Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what that new normal was, but I also was trying to figure out who I was.
So how did you work that out?
So for the first couple of years, I worked a lot, like too much. And then one day at my parents' house during a visit, I kind of had a little meltdown and said, there's got to be more to life than this. Just going to work in church and coming to visit you all during the holidays. So I started exploring. I started taking classes. I took a cake decorating class and took a Spanish class and started going to Tallahassee Nights live shows, to Black on Black rhyme poetry shows, just to kind of figure out what I liked and what I wanted to do. And so in that exploration, I allowed myself to just be and see what it was I liked. And we found conversations with Nicole in the midst of all of that. So.
Wow. So that was during that time period?
Mm-hmm.
So part of that process for you was getting out in the community and talking to people?
Yeah, for sure. I was already doing it at work, but doing it on a different level in terms of, again, just meeting people for lunch to have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So the show had even a bigger meaning to you than we might think. Just, we know you're committed to it because you've been doing it for 10 years, but it has even more of a place in your journey, it sounds like.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that until just this moment. That's powerful.
All right. Final question. The podcast is named How I Got Here, and we've talked about how you got to this point in your life. So where do you think you might be 3 to 5 years from now?
3 to 5 years from now, I would love to have my own out-of-home studio. I would love to have a team that can assist with more of the production work. I love documentaries, so I'd love to do something in that space. I did some work with the Solar Southside Festival where we collected oral histories from 21 people from 10 Southside neighborhoods. That was just kind of a dream project for me, so I'd love to do something similar to that. And travel. I love to travel and do more interviews or have more conversations in different places and spaces across the country and globally. Yeah, so that's where I would love to be in 3 to 5 years.
Thanks for listening to the show. To find more great episodes or suggest a guest, visit tallypodcast.com. You can also follow or subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and other major podcast platforms. While you're there, please leave us a rating and a review. Thank you for being part of the How I Got Here community.